In my previous video, I set up the expressions to control this wiggling tail or tentacle or whatever you want to make out of this. In this video, I'm going to set up controls that allow me to adjust the variables that create the pattern. If I go to my attribute editor again, right-click on rotate, and go to, oops, I have to right-click directly on this one, right-click, edit expression. You can see which one has the expressions because it's got the purple color on it. And here's what I set up in my last video. It has amplitude, speed, the initial starting point on the time, offset down the length of the tentacle, tail, whatever it is, and the fall off as it decreases or potentially increases as it goes down the length. I'll just move that out of the way for the time being. I'm going to create a control object for it first. I'll rotate this like that. Modify freeze, edit, plate by type history. And I'll name this tail control, CTRL. I'll also grab this, and I think I'm going to Control G to put that in a group. And I'll name my group tail group, Windows Outliner, so you can see what my arrangement is. Tail group at the top, and then each of the individual segments going down. I'll click the tail control. Control click on tail group, so I have the control selected first, then the group selected second. I'm going to change this from modeling to rigging. Constrain, parent constraint. This is the parent constraint that is now controlling the group, and now if I move my control around, the tail will move with it. I can also rotate it, but scaling won't really do any good. So I'm going to go over here into my channel box. I'm just going to select the scales and the visibility. Just right-click, lock and hide. I don't really need those for what I'm doing today. Instead, what I need, if I click on this and rotate Y right here, I want to have controls for these 5 variables. But I think even though I don't have it organized in that manner, I'm going to start with my start. Edit, add attribute. Start. It's be a float. And I'm not going to bother with a minimum or maximum for this. It's just going to be open-ended. I can start wherever I want to start and add, either positive or negative frames, and hit add. And I want my amplitude. Amplitude. And the amplitude is going to go from 0 to it wouldn't make much sense to go beyond, say, 90 degrees. Hit add. 90, in fact, would probably be ridiculous for my amplitude, but I'll have it as an option just in case. My speed. Start at 0. And I don't really know what my maximum speed would be, so I'll leave that blank. And then offset. I'm going to go from 0 to 1 on this one. And the same for fall off. 0 to 1. And I can close that. So now I've got my start, my amplitude, speed, offset, and fall off all right here, without actually controlling anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my expression editor once again. If I can see right here, I've got my tail controls selected. I can see the start right there. I can copy that and then click on my initial tail segment, find my rotate Y where all my expressions are. And where it says start equals 0, I'm just going to paste in like that. And now the start is 0 because that's what it says here. I'll also go to my amplitude. I'll change these just so I've gone matching up with what was in my initial settings. I think my offset, what was my offset? .25 and 0.1 for my fall off. Now they match up. And did I close my expression editor? I did. Didn't mean to do that. Edit expression, there it is. And I should be able to just copy this. And as long as I don't spell it wrong, amplitude, edit, yep. Instead of the numbers, I'm connecting these to the tail control's different attributes. Speed, yep. Paste that in, change that to offset. I'm hitting edit each time to double check to make sure that I don't spell them incorrectly. I have done that in the past. There we go. And now I don't need my expression editor anymore to control this. I can close that. And if I want to adjust anything in my tail right here, I just go to my tail control. I click on the word start and hold my mouse in an empty space and hold down my middle mouse button and drag to left and right. I can control where this starts. I can also control the amplitude. See, that's probably why I don't want to go beyond 90. It starts getting a bit ridiculous if I take that too high. I had this at 60 before. See what that looks like, something around there. I can adjust my speed. I can adjust my offset. Offset will be much more gradual now. I can increase my fall off. So I can adjust this however I want. I can even animate these. Make it start 0, and then keyframe it somewhere, and then go into the future and increase my amplitude so it starts moving. Whatever I want with this. Just makes it easier than having to do it in my expression editor. And plus, you can't, like I just mentioned, animate in my expression editor. I have to do that here, but I can't do that in my expression editor. So this allows me to animate and adjust it without having to do any extra work for it. So I'll save this. And you can do that for anything in your expression editor. All right. That's about all I've got to do with expressions.